Good morning. Today is Sunday, January 14th, 2024, and this is the weekly Bitcoin price forecast. So looking at where price went in the last week and where it could potentially go in the future. So this is the forecast that I've been wanting to make for a long time. The one where we can finally announce that the Bitcoin ETF is out. The spot ETF got approved on Thursday. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to go out to the monthly chart. Spot ETF got approved on Thursday. And since then, it's been kind of a whipsaw, to be honest. Like, there's been a lot of up movement, a lot of down movement. But overall, we've kind of settled out. This is expected. It's expected in a sense that, like, you could see a lot of volatility starting out with the ETF approval, because again, it is such a big development. Such a big development on Wall Street, such a big development in the crypto space, and really adds a lot of legitimacy to everything that's been going on. So you have Bitcoin now that has been accepted by Wall Street, mainstream finance and all that. So traditional finance is finally going to be a source of demand for the market. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, that adds the fuel to the fire for things to go up, and just in time as well for the halving to happen in the next 3 to 4 months, right? So that's going to happen, and Bitcoin's daily production rate is going to go down by 50%. That's huge. Like, every halving event is traditionally a source of the, it's kind of like the start of the next bull run. So, and really, I'm calling this starting line this week. This past week was a starting line for the bull run, in my opinion, because now we've added that demand. Like, we're going to start seeing more and more people buy into Bitcoin and crypto. I think the narrative is going to switch quite a bit. The narrative in terms of, like, oh, Bitcoin's a scam, Bitcoin's this and that. Like, they're going to do things to hold it down, but overall, they got to sell these ETFs one way or another. They definitely have to sell these ETFs and, like, kind of get them off the market. I think they did like $4 billion in revenue the first day. The first day of trading, there was like $4 billion worth of the Bitcoin ETF traded, and I think that is the biggest opening day that you've had, pretty much that you've had in any type of ETF space. So, like, it's definitely a huge move, and we're only just getting started. Like, we're just getting started. So again, let's actually look at the chart at this point, see what we got going. Again, this is all of 2023. We had two sections, right? You had the beginning of the year shot up, and then you had this sideways movement, and then the end of the year was just like a rocket. So you had September, October, November, December, all the way up to January, ETF approval. So, I mean, regardless, this is going to be a good month. We're about halfway through. We're on the 14th day at this point. So you got still 2 more weeks to see some movement to the upside. I think that's what we're going to see. Let the initial shock of the ETF approval kind of taper out, and then we'll go from there. Weekly chart. Again, at this point, it's been a lot of consolidation, and there have been breakouts, as you can see, like these huge wicks, but nothing sustained. We've really stayed in like this $44,000 to $45,000 range. Really since the beginning of December. It's been a lot of up and down. There's been a lot of anticipation. I mean, there's been a lot of waiting here to see what's going to happen in January. And that's reasonable. But now, as you can see, we are going up to, we almost hit 50,000. And that's something we'll talk about too, is, and let's put these drawings on. At 50,000, that's going to be a very round number. That's going to be very important in the grand scheme of things, because 50,000 is a key level. And you see it almost just went up there. Like, you just got to think about it. It's such a round number. It's the same thing, in my opinion, as about 25,000. It's like 5,000, 10,000, 25,000, 50,000, 100,000. Well, 75,000, maybe 100,000 is going to be like the next one that is like a big pausing point. But again, it kind of goes to show that, like, once you get up to like these very round numbers, these very psychological numbers, it is in general a good turning point. Even with something as huge as the Bitcoin ETF filing, some people thought there was going to be, this crazy God candle. I mean, we were at, let's say we were at like 42 up to almost 50. I mean, like, that's like $6,000. That's like a $6,000 move. But, some people were expecting maybe a potentially $10,000 candle that you could have seen like way up here, maybe to like the 54s, 53s or whatever. But again, that's still a pretty decent move. So we'll dial in a bit more. Right. I mean, this is the consolidation that I've been talking about. So again, you had this up and down and up and down and up and down movement. And around here, so this was Monday the 8th, that was last week. You had this huge lift off to the upside. And then it just kind of consolidated to, what was this? It went up to about 46,000. And then Wednesday, what happened on Wednesday? The ETF got approved on Wednesday. Oh, what happened? I think it was Tuesday. So Tuesday of this week, there was some, I think, SEC hack. It was either Tuesday or Wednesday. I can't remember. But there was like some SEC hack of the release for the Bitcoin ETF. Basically, somebody saying that it had been approved. So it shot up for a quick second and then came right back down. But overall, it's just kind of been in this range. It hasn't really been doing anything. If you look at all the candles here, they have wicks, like wick. So it's been a lot of indecision right here, just to come back to its starting point. And then you had the ETF release on the first day it started trading was Thursday. And that was the highest point that you saw. But since then, it has since come down. This is like, I think Friday was like a negative 7.7% move. What does that say? Yeah, so roughly negative 8% on Friday. And to me, I'm not worried about that at all. Because, I mean, if you really look at what happened, all it did was come down to the 50 moving average and bounce off. It still hasn't hit this 4-hour demand. Like nothing around here has like retested this. What level is this? This is 40,000. They have not retested 40,000 at all. And it doesn't, in my opinion, I don't think it's going to happen. Like you're going to be consolidated between really this zone and this zone, 50,000 until one of them breaks. And my opinion is with all this new demand that's about to come into the market, 50,000 is going to be a lot easier to break than 40,000. Because again, even if you break this zone right here, you would have had to break the 50 moving average. You would have had to break the zone that's been sitting right here. You would have had to break this long-term uptrend line. So let's look at this parallel, channel that we've had. You would have to break boom, 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 all this. Like this is strong. This has been in place for a while. So this could be, in worst case scenario, a heavy retest right there. And then before continuing to the upside, maybe they want to, sell it down or do whatever. That is it's a possibility now that you have like big banks into this, like to where they could dump to get liquidity. So I think you'll start seeing more consistent market dynamics out of this, as opposed to like these long stall periods that we've been having in Bitcoin. We're entering up only season. We are absolutely entering up only season in the sense where it's just going to continue, as the name implies, it's going to continue to go up. When I first started making like these videos way back in April, my prediction was 250,000 by the end of 2025. So that gives us roughly 2 years at this point. I think that's still possible. I still very much so think that's within the realm of possibility. And like when I made that prediction, there was no ETF narrative. So, I mean, like that fuels it even more, gives me a little bit more conviction. Just based on your technical factors, your just fundamentals, your supply and demand, based on the on-chain metrics and like, the adoption rate, because still we're only at about like 5% globally of people who use this. If we're talking like large scale, there's still so much untapped room in crypto, and it's going to be a beautiful ride. 2024 is definitely going to be a great year. I believe that wholeheartedly. So really, I mean, that's the big thing this week is just like the ETF release and basically knowing that, okay, well, there's demand coming into the market. And even if you look at whatever drops that we've had, like they've been ascending drops. It's like you have equal highs roughly, and then you have higher lows. Like you have a higher low right here, higher low right here, higher low right here. And then it continues on to the upside. Yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm definitely excited to see where this goes. This has been something that anyone who's been following the space has been waiting for about 6 months. Like I said, I consider this to be the starting line, and people have the opportunity to gain a lot over the next 24 to 48 months. I guess 12 to 24. So the next 2 years, I would say, before we start, doing X, Y, and Z. But really, there's not too much else to talk about. I mean, if we're on the 4-hour chart at this point, we're below that moving average. But again, we're still at the bottom of this channel. Yeah, that's really about it. I mean, we made this drop, but it's not really concerning to me because it's like all it is we're just still in this range. We're still in this range until we're not anymore. And once we break out to the upside, especially once you break 50,000, if we go back out and like zoom, like where's the next stopping point that it could go to? Technically, it wicked above this structural level, and then still this is kind of like 50,000 too. Like if it breaks that. the next point is really all-time highs. Like you're at 69,000 because like there's nothing but imbalance. Like there's no structural points in here. Even if I look on the daily chart, there may be one or two, like one stopping point, but it's relatively weak because like we're talking about like the start of the bear market at this point, 2021, 61,000, 60,000, 61,000 might be an area that we touch again. 56,000 maybe on the daily chart. We may pause at about 63,000. And then this is like, I mean, I really consider all this to be one zone. So, I mean, somewhere, once you break that 63,000 to about 69,000 all-time high, you're good to go. You're good to go at that point. So, yeah, man, we're getting there. We're getting there. Enjoy the ride. That's pretty much all I got. Again, this has been Chris Talks Crypto. For any crypto resources, check out christalkscrypto.com. And I will see you guys on the moon. Take care.